Assalamu alaikum and a very warm welcome to World This Morning. I am Hajra Sati and besides me is my wonderful co-host Ahmed Nawaz. Assalamu alaikum Ahmed.
Waalaikum. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for asking.
What great energy you have. I mean, I never thought I'd be a morning person, but you know, desperate times call for desperate measures. And here I am once again hosting a morning show with Hajra, of course, as well. But Hajra, it's been interesting because I think once you get used to the mornings, they become a great source for energy.
You. Yes, it's a blessing for you. And I mean, because the nature has wired us to be a morning person, but unfortunately, the wonders of the modern era, the gadgets and our obsession with the technology has made us not so very morning.
I've always been intrigued with the energy that Shahzad brings on, and I think that's one of the reasons that he's now a morning person. I think that's how things are going. But there's so much to talk about, and today we're going to give you a lot of insight into health and fitness, because obviously, Hajra, that becomes one of the most important topics in our lifestyles, and considering that we're in Pakistan.
That's true, that's true. So, Ahmed, that we know that, there's a war raging on in the Ukraine, and we also pray that, a peace is restored, because obviously the first casualties is the civilians. So now I read a very interesting article on Al Jazeera, which was written by Hamid Dabashi, and he's one of my favorite authors. Why? Because he champions the voice of the third world countries. And he mentions an author, a Ukrainian author who came to become, who went to Russia and who contributed a great part of the literature to the Russian literature. His name is Nikolai Gogol, right? Yes. And he mentions a tale of a Cossack warriors there, and the person's name is Taras Bulba, who has two sons, and eventually the second son falls in love with the Polish women. And when he finds out, he shoots his son, right? So it's a very interesting novel, especially for the people out there who are book lovers. Please do go out and read it. And Hamid Dabashi also says in his article that, I would like to quote him, right?
Yes, please.
So he was born in Ukraine, made famous in Russia. He embodies both the ties that bind the two countries and the differences that sets them apart. And this is the relationship, and I think that rivalry has now deteriorated to the literary landscape too. But again, we hope and pray that
obviously peace is something that should prevail all over the world. And with Hajra, it's always interesting because she's a complete philosopher, isn't she? So she'll have a grip on all world issues, and she'll be talking about them as well. But lots of interesting things coming your way on World This Morning, and of course we're going to be talking about fitness routines, your diets as well. We've got a holy month of Ramadan just around the corner. So how to balance your lifestyle there as well is very, very important, because there are a lot of misconceptions when we talk about fitness. But before that, I do know, considering that we're news people, and we will always be news people, that we've got a lineup of the top stories that we've got for today. So let's take a look and then continue the discussion. Of course, first of all, we're going to be telling you about something very interesting, and that is that Prime Minister Imran Khan inaugurated the e-passport service for Pakistanis who are currently holding the passport of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. Now, it gets very interesting because one of the mottos of the government when it came into power was giving complete respect to the Pakistani passport, and a chip-enabled e-passport now at your disposal is going to be a huge service for Pakistanis who are traveling abroad, because it gives you access to many facilities, including e-immigration as well. And it is truly a step forward. Interior Minister Sheikh Rashid Ahmed was also present on the inauguration ceremony. And once again, we've got, I think, great news for all of you who are traveling abroad. Using this e-passports, you will be able to travel more efficiently and obviously get through those hefty lines of immigration and on the airports as well. So a lot is coming your way. So congratulations to Pakistan. E-passports are now in your hand.
Right. And Ahmed, earlier how we were talking about the health, it, right? And Prime Minister has initiated a very amazing, welfare thing called Sehat Insaf Card, National Health Card, right? And we have seen that, how much it benefits the entire population in Pakistan, and I think it's one of the kind in the entire globe. And now Pakistani organization is tasked with boosting the health sector capacity in 12 countries. I mean, that's a very amazing achievement, and I think a moment of pride for us, because Health Services Academy, which is a public health sector university in Pakistan, will help enhance the capacity of 12 Muslim countries of Africa in the public health sector under the agreement signed by the Academy with Islamic University in Uganda here on Tuesday.
Absolutely. Once again, the health sector has been phenomenal during this tenure, and we've seen that each and every citizen has been provided with a health card, and where you're eligible for a cover of about 1 million rupees, which I think is amazing, even for people like us who belong from the better segments of society. I think it's a huge service, and imagine people from the downtrodden societies, how beneficial it is for them as well.
And that's a true realization of a welfare state,
Absolutely.
right?
I think the first priority is health, education and justice that must be given to the people, and that dream has of course been realized with this sector as well. Moving on, we've also got a sacred papers recycling plant that will be established within a year. Now this has been a big debate in Pakistan, but the Religious Affairs and Interfaith Harmony Secretary Sardar Ejaz Ahmed Khan on Monday vowed to establish sacred papers recycling plant in a year, as the project was in the doldrums since 2016. Now it becomes a huge debate in Pakistan because obviously certain documents do contain sacred names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Khatamun Nabiyeen, Quranic verses as well. So very important to recycle them in a way that is of course protecting the sacred I think harmony of that as well, and also prestige of that document as well, which is very important. So the plant would be established on the principles of Sharia and run on scientific lines with a piece of 10 canal land, and the allocation cost is 331 million rupees.
Right, and we will also like to share some very good news with our viewers because it's World this morning. And of course, Pakistani cyclist Ali Ilyas bagged silver medal in the Asian Road Cycling Championship in Dushanbe. Ahmed, we've seen that in Islamabad there's a very vibrant cycling culture. You know, if you come early here in the morning, and you will see that a lot of cyclists on the roads, and actually Islamabad's landscape is, you know, such manufactured in such a way that it actually helps the cyclists.
We've got the first bicycle lanes in Islamabad as well, which is a great step forward.
That's true. Pakistani athletes also performed brilliantly in the Masters and amateur events held yesterday, the 5th and the final day of the 41st Asian Cycling Championship as the Challenge Cup. On the whole, the players of the national team also gave good performances.
Well, congratulations to Pakistan and congratulations to the winners as well. Obviously, in sports is a domain where Pakistan is always excelling, and with cycling, like Hajra mentioned, it's a huge scope, not just inside the region, but even beyond as well, because obviously you see some domains going towards the Olympic sports as well. Now, continuing with our discussion, of course, like we said, that we're going to be talking about fitness, we're going to be talking about very interesting things as far as your diet routine is concerned. Especially, I personally want to know about this phenomenon called CrossFit. So we'll be hearing from a fitness expert who also happens to own a facility where CrossFit is very popular, and we'll be talking to him in detail. Very, very lucky to be joined in studios of World this morning by Mr. Saeed Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm good.
Good to have you on the show.
Likewise.
Now, Hajra, I understand that it's not just the talk. You've got a report as well on fitness.
Right. I was talking with him, with Saeed Saab before this show, and I wanted to ask more about, you know, the fitness regime and the diet about it. And of course, we do have a report on it, right?
Absolutely. I guess that this is a very interesting topic that we discuss, and me and Hajra both are very, very eager to know about the routine that we're going to be following in Ramadan. Hajra is already shrinking, so she doesn't need to worry, but obviously I need a routine to follow. But let's take a look at this report that we've got and learn more about what we're discussing and why is fitness so important.
8 tips for eating healthy. Base your meals on higher fiber, starchy carbohydrates. Starchy carbohydrates should make up just over 1/3 of the food you eat. They include potatoes, bread, rice, pasta, and cereals. 2. Eat lots of fruit and veg. It's recommended that you eat at least 5 portions of a variety of fruit and veg every day. They can be fresh, frozen, canned, dried, or juiced. Eat more fish, including a portion of oily fish. Fish is a good source of protein and contains many vitamins and minerals. Aim to eat at least 2 portions of fish a week, including at least 1 portion of oily fish. Oily fish are high in omega-3 fats, which may help prevent heart disease. 4. Cut down on saturated fat and sugar. Saturated fat. You need some fat in your diet, but it's important to pay attention to the amount and type of fat you're eating. There are 2 main types of fat, saturated and unsaturated. Too much saturated fat can increase the amount of cholesterol in your blood, which increases your risk of developing heart disease. On average, men should have no more than 30 grams of saturated fat a day. On average, women should have no more than 20 grams of saturated fat a day. 5. Eat less salt, no more than 6 grams a day for adults. Eating too much salt can raise your blood pressure. People with high blood pressure are more likely to develop heart disease or have a stroke. Even if you do not add salt to your food, you may still be eating too much. About 3/4 of the salt you eat is already in the food when you buy it. 6. Get active and be a healthy weight. As well as eating healthily, regular exercise may help reduce your risk of getting serious health conditions. It's also important for your overall health and well-being. 7. Do not get thirsty. You need to drink plenty of fluids to stop you from getting dehydrated. The government recommends drinking 6 to 8 glasses every day. This is in addition to the fluid you get from the food you eat. 8. Do not skip breakfast. Some people skip breakfast because they think it'll help them lose weight. But a healthy breakfast high in fiber and low in fat, sugar, and salt can form part of a balanced diet and can help you get the nutrients you need for good health. A whole grain, lower sugar cereal with semi-skimmed milk and fruit sliced over the top is a tasty and healthier breakfast.
And now you've seen this lovely report, Ahmed, and of course, especially in the modern era, it is very imperative on us to have a healthy life.
I could hardly, judge that I am on a healthy diet, but that's what I saw. But a lot of foods that you should be consuming, some you shouldn't be consuming, some you need to, I think, consume smartly. I thought it's a complete science in the food as well.
That's true.
Yep.
So now we'll ask this question to our very esteemed guest. Sir, so do you think, is it possible to have a healthy lifestyle, especially in a modern world where we are so much obsessed with these gadgets and with this technology, and we're not focusing that much enough on having a healthy lifestyle? What are your views?
Well, as far as concerned about myself, I think to get fit, it's very important in your life, because when you stay away from doctors, when you stay away from medicines, and you live a healthy life, it gives you confidence, boost up your energy. And the thing is that fitness is not a science. Anybody can get fit. You need to control your diet and go for normal workout, and you get fit. So make it your lifestyle rather than luxury.
It's interesting that you mentioned go for a normal workout, because like I was discussing with you before the show, that in Pakistan there's a huge misconception that people would probably enter the gym and go so aggressively on their diet and their gym routine that 80% of the time they will be going in the wrong direction.
The basic thing is that most of the people, they do wrong workout. What they do normally is they keep on doing 7 days a week. Basically, the phenomena is you need to do workout 4 days a week maximum and 40 minutes a day. And in those 40 minutes, you need to focus and concentrate on your workout. And the most important thing is that you need to know what you need to eat before your workout and right after your workout, because you need carbohydrates before your workout to have energy, power, endurance, strength, stamina, intensity. All these factors comes into your body, and you do your workout in a healthy way, and you have maximum power to lift weights and do your sets. And right after your workout, you need protein, because it is very important to learn this concept that your muscles, they open their mouth right after your workout for 30 minutes. And whatever you eat, especially proteins, it goes into your muscle, but within 30 minutes. But because after 30 minutes, whatever you eat, it goes waste and washroom, because the muscles, they close their mouth. So it's very important to understand this concept that you need to eat within 30 minutes proteins, and before workout, carbohydrates.
That's very interesting.
Right, that's true. So do you think it's important for us to have a healthy food or delicious food? Because Ahmed, whenever I do workout, and the first thought that hit me, as you mentioned, that you need protein. The first thought that hits me is, I want to have chips or, some delicious burger of,
unhealthy food.
That's true. Why doesn't, fruits or healthy food or vegetable, hit my mind? I don't know. Is there some logic behind this, or?
Basically, it all depends on your lust, because we're so used to of eating junk food. And it's really hard to avoid these kinds of food when you do workout. But it's very important that you can go for cheat day for 2 days in a week. It's not a problem.
It's natural.
It's natural. But when you do workout, you need to focus on your diet, clean diet, and you need to munch at least 4 or 5 times a day in small portions of your diet. It's not like you eat breakfast and then you eat dinner and
starve
yourself because there is a process which is called calorie burning process. It goes dead when you take a gap of at least 3 hours between your meals, two meals. So the calories stored in your body if you starve. So you keep on eating, munching and drinking.
But that's interesting because what people would do would starve themselves and think that they're burning calories.
It goes vice versa because you get obesity when you give a maximum gap between your meals. So you need to eat much.
Right. Interesting.
That means eating a lot has not made people fat, but not eating a lot has made them fat.
Exactly. Because it's a very common phenomenon that abs are made in kitchen, not in gym.
Yes.
So you need to go for quality diet rather than quantity.
Right, right. So, you know, I was researching about it last night and I came across a saying, you know, and I would like to ask your views on it. It is said that eat your breakfast, share your lunch with a friend and give your dinner to your enemy. Why do people say that?
It's because, you know, like after 5 o'clock in the evening, you shouldn't be going for carbohydrates. It don't get absorbed in your digestive system. It doesn't work good because after 5 o'clock, you need to go for proteins. It's good for your healthy routine diet. But people, they doesn't know about the carbohydrates and protein portions after 5 o'clock. So I recommend that before 5 o'clock, you can go for carbohydrates and after 5 o'clock, before go to bed, you can have proteins.
I think people should understand this, but how would people understand this when you've got a keeme wala paratha in front of you after 5 p.m.? You're never going to leave carbs. But I think this, I'll be very honest, I've done so many shows on my sports domain in fitness as well, where I am, you know, intrigued, and I'm being honest that this is the first time I've actually heard this, that keeping a huge gap between meals is going to make you fat and is going to probably shut down your calorie burning process. This is very, very interesting. That's why I think it's good to talk to people and talk to professionals about this routine as well. But now, considering that people have got the holy month of Ramadan just around the corner, people who I've talked to, even myself in my subconscious would be thinking, okay, this is a time for me to lose weight. Maybe I can just have a little bit of sehri. The whole day I'm going to starve anyway. Aftari, I'll just have a little bit of fruit and I'll be good to go. But that's not going to work, is it?
I mean, there is very interesting misconceptual things going on in Ramadan. Basically, if you don't focus on diet, we gain weight, almost 9 kg in Ramadan, which is like, if we go for sehri, normal sehri, I'm talking about normal people taking sehri, they consume almost 1200 calories in sehri, and then in Aftari they consume almost 1600 calories. I categorize after that, and then in dinner they go for 1000 more calories. So it's altogether 3800 calories in a day.
Which is more than a normal.
Which is more than a normal, because for fat reduction you need to have below 1500 calories. You need to consume 1500 or less than 1500 calories. But if we eat paratha in sehri, it consume almost like 300 to 400 calories. And then again salan, it consume like almost 500 calories. Then glass of milk, 200 calories. And then tea with 2 spoons of sugar, 200 calories. So we don't focus on these small petty issues. So rather than having paratha, we can have roti, whole wheat. And then instead of salan, we can have omelette. And instead of milk, we can have basil drink with lemon. And in Aftari, especially one date consume 14 calories. And people consume like 4 or 5 dates, it's normal. And then samosa, 75 calories. And then pakode is almost like more than 200 calories.
Yeah,
then again fruit chaat. And
that's good. Yeah. So take everything away from us.
Basically, the thing is that the Ramadan is very blessing. In Ramadan, you can control your diet very easily. And I recommend that if you go for fasting, you go for your workout before your Aftari. You know why? Because I just said earlier that you need to have protein right after your workout. So if you do your workout before Aftari, then right after your workout, Aftari time comes and you need to have protein intake. So you gain some good muscle size and you reduce fat.
Yeah,
it's
people
very
would
simple
normally
phenomena.
be going after their iftar.
Is it? Yeah, because they don't have energy level. But they need to think that after Aftari, the body get dizzy and you in the whole day you're starving. So I recommend that before, if you have got some energy level inside your body, so just play with it and go before Aftari for your workout. It gives you result, maximum 100% results.
Very true. Very interesting.
Very interesting. And Ahmed, we have seen that, you know, people are getting very conscious about their health, about their, you know, lifestyle. And I would like to ask, because this phenomena is, I think, ringing across the ladder of the keto diet. But I have talked to some nutritionists. They say that do not go for the keto diet, rather go for the intermittent dieting, fasting,
Fasting as well, portion control, something like that.
Right. So
In intermittent fasting, what you do normally is that 16 hours you take rest, including your sleep, and 8 hours you eat. In those 8 hours, you can have small portion of yogurt, then small portion of mixed fruit, then a small portion of salads, then coffee or green tea or brown bread, some kind of diet like this. So instead of, like starving, you can have eating for almost like 8 hours, and the rest 16 hours you don't eat anything. But that is just for time being. You cannot linger on intermittent fasting for so many days, because it again destroy your immune system and metabolic system.
Not advisable for long-term processes as well.
No way.
But obviously coming towards the gym routine as well, or your fitness routine, and you probably don't have to go to a gym. You can do it at the comfort of your own home as well. There are small things that you can work with. But CrossFit has become very, very popular. And because you're a person who can professionally explain this, what is the phenomena of CrossFit for people who don't know about it?
Ahmed, CrossFit is a new myth in fitness. Basically, it's called new move in fitness. It consists of different obstacles, which seems to be very difficult for, initially it seems very difficult, but with the passage of time, when you get used to it, when you get energy, stamina inside your body, and you keep on doing CrossFit, it's amazing. The results are amazing, because you go with your body weight, load and distance, because in ordinary gyms you play with weights, but in CrossFit you play with your own body weight, like rock climbing, like jumping on wooden boxes, then throwing tires, heavy tires, then smashing hammer on tires, then monkey bars, and then dog sledge. It all consists of obstacles. It's a new myth in fitness, and like in Europe and in America, the normal gyms are getting obsolete now. Everybody is focusing on CrossFit.
How effective is it to lose weight?
It's basically the concept is not to lose weight, to lose fat.
Right.
Always focus on fat loss instead of weight loss, because nobody likes skinny bodies. Everybody likes healthy bodies, like athletic physique or figure for both genders. So always go for fat loss, and CrossFit is very much important nowadays for fat loss. So it has got obstacles. You need to go for those obstacles, obviously with your trainer, instructions of your trainer, and then with the particular given time, you need to complete those obstacles. I said earlier, it's really hard initially, but right after some days, when you get energy, it's amazing.
It becomes very interesting as well. I think with obstacles, you make it more interesting. So I think it's a good time to start CrossFit.
It's somehow like soldier army training, because it's complete like practical training rather than playing with weights, because when you start playing with weights, you gain size. But with CrossFit, you get defined symmetry body.
So it's not boring as well. I think
it's not boring. It's not boring, because it's when you do CrossFit, within 30 minutes you get your objective, your goal, because the main objective is to get sweat. With your sweat you lose your fat, right? So for 30 minutes, if you lose your stamina, you get maximum sweating. So you're getting your objective to lose fat.
There you go. Are you going to try CrossFit now?
Right. I would definitely like. Okay, so I wanted to talk more about the modern technology, and of course, the health and the fitness, which is, I think, directly linked with it. So how many time or hours one should spend in front of the screen? What do you recommend about it?
In front of the
screen, or the gadgets, or the technology?
Well, I don't recommend that, because earlier days, nobody was keen about gadgets. I remember my old days when we used to play outside in streets, playing cricket, football, every game. But nowadays, gadgets making your life very, they're putting ourselves in isolation.
Right.
I've seen so many people coming around for dinner or lunch, and they're not talking with each other, and they're just playing with their gadgets. So it's not worth it. Instead of using gadgets, you need to go for making your diet plans and your workout plans for making a healthy lifestyle.
But then again, Ahmed, and you see, Saeed Saab, that it's not a luxury. It has become a necessity, no? If you forget a mobile at home, you literally get a heart attack.
Yeah, I think it's become a curse, most probably, because we still remember, I think me and Hajar are blessed to be part of the generations when these gadgets did not have importance.
Exactly.
We were probably, I always say that our parents had to bring us indoors, drag us in, because we'd never come. And now we've got to push people out of the door that for God's sake go out. So it does become a curse, but it becomes very interesting in terms of fitness as well, because I've personally figured this out, and then I read somewhere as well that what people are doing, Saeed Saab, and you can better comment on this being a professional, that they are also using gadgets during their fitness routine as well, be it a smartwatch, be it music as well. And it's often very distracting, and it's said that you tend to miss your focus on your goal. Is that true?
Ahmed, it's true somehow, because you cannot, I always say you cannot compare apple with the orange. Everything has got pros and cons.
That's true.
Weak points and strong points. Obviously, gadget has got so much, it plays very important role in our daily life routine. And you're very much right that people are using gadgets in a positive way when they start doing their workout. They maintain their calories. They can get different apps for getting fit. But as far as concerned about this kind of gadget playing in workout area, it's good. But other than that, if you get time, instead of, you know, like using gadgets, you can do so many important things which plays very important role in your life.
Talk to someone.
Talk to someone,
That's
talk to
true,
your family, sit with your family, because that's what I said, isolation, going in isolation. So
That's
instead of making it a bad habit,
That's
make it a strong habit.
Right.
Workout is a good strategy using gadgets in your workout
We
plan.
also need to remain connected with our environment, right?
do.
And
We do.
do have to need a disconnect with the technology too.
That's very true. Well, I think at this moment, we want to know about your facility of CrossFit as well. So for people who want to know before finally going towards another segment, what is the facility? What are you offering?
We opened in December by the name of VFit Garage. It's the first professional CrossFit garage of Pakistan, alhamdulillah. And probably in future time, we are connecting ourselves with the Reebok, because Reebok is conducting CrossFit competitions around the globe.
Yes,
And in South Asia, we're the first one in Pakistan who are conducting CrossFit competitions, inshallah, in future. And we have got VFit Garage on first floor of V Play, which is a very famous place for kids. It's a Joyline on Main Double Road E11, so we are sitting on first floor.
So drop your kids downstairs
Drop
and
your
go
kids
up.
down and come up for your workout.
Yeah.
It's very, very interesting strategy. And one more thing about the gadgets. You know, like people like myself, if I want to make gadget in a proper way, what I do is like I go for my workout and I start, you know, like seeing applications related to my workout. But what normally people do, instead of doing workout, they start talking to their mates, their friends, or listening to music, and, you know, just wasting time. That's why I said earlier, 45 minutes focus on your workout.
Leave everything else.
Leave everything, and then you get results in 3 months. But people always complain that they're not getting results because they're not focusing on things. Like diet plays an important role. It's like 30% is your workout, and 50% is the way you feed yourself, and 20% is rest. But mostly in Pakistan, people goes vice versa. They just focus on workout only or gadgets.
We want shortcuts.
That's it. We always go for shortcuts.
We go for shortcut, but Saeed Saab, it's been very interesting. I think thank you so much for clearing so many misconceptions. I don't know about you lot, but I think me and Hajra are going to make a decision. I'm going to CrossFit, and I love it that it's on the top floor of V Play, so I've got the kids covered as well at the same time. But I think one thing is for sure, that fitness is not just a routine, it's a lifestyle. And once you get used to it, you're definitely going to continue more confidently and probably feel more energetic, as I'm feeling today waking up in the morning, obviously. But that will be that. On that note, I think we'll go towards a short break, but we've got some interesting things coming your way after the break. Stay tuned to World This Morning.
Oh, welcome back. And Ahmed, earlier we were talking about the fitness and a healthy lifestyle, and we know that millennials like us, both of us, are very conscious about it. And talking about the youth, we do know that how important it is for us to lead a healthy life.
I like that tag, millennials. I think we should probably get it branded somewhere on our cars as well. I like that tag. But I think Hajra is right, because of course being fit will give you confidence, but when it comes to your communication skills, they're going to define how you're moving in life.
Right. So we have with us our very esteemed guest, who happens to be Public Information Officer at United Nations. He is Muhammad Abdul Wahab. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Welcome,
Sir, good morning. Thank you for being on the show. First of all, I think straight ahead, UN defines a lot of things, but people want to know the responsibilities of a Public Information Officer.
You see, public information is supposed to cover the domain of media coverage, basically. When it comes to media coverage, it usually gets operated through a full-fledged division. Division has sort of, public spokesperson. Number 2, media communications. Number 3, publications. And number 4, media monitoring. And number 5th, special cases, special handling. So basically what happens, wherever a mission is working, Public Information Office is supposed to cover all the news, not only pertaining to the mission, but whatever interaction takes place of that mission with the local public or local government.
With the host country.
Exactly. At the same time, we facilitate international media to cover our activities. For example, I have been in Congo for like almost more than 14 years. So one of my portfolios were media collaboration. So we would get emails or telephone calls from all international channels, you see. They would let us know, they want to come and they want to cover that domain. Usually what happens whenever UN missions are requested in a particular country, overall civic facilities or other facilities are not available.
Absolutely.
So basically we provide aviation facilities as well. For example, in Congo, we used to spend like almost $400 million on flying. We had 44 assets, 44 planes, including helicopters. So from one end of the machine to the other end, which was almost more than 4,000 kilometers, you see, we would run our flights. We would not only carry our own personnel, but at the same time, international media, whoever would come with a certain request in a certain part.
Right, that's very interesting. And now, so the theme of our second segment is, Ahmed, the role of youth in the development. And of course, Pakistan has 60% of the young population.
The most population.
Right?
But, Ajay, if you allow me on this note, I'd just like to send out our heartfelt condolences, because we're talking about missions of the UN, especially in Congo. Pakistan has been the largest contributor UN peacekeeping missions around the world. And just recently we had a tragedy where one of our aviation helicopters unfortunately crashed. Personnel of Pakistan Army embraced martyrdom. Our condolences to them, but just tells you the volume of sacrifices that Pakistan has in these UN peacekeeping missions as well, especially in the domain of Congo and Africa as well, if you want to know more. But obviously, like you said, the role of youth, we've got the largest youth bulge.
Right. We have the largest...
Ahmed, I would just like to add, when you talk about this sad incident, air crash, I must tell, Pakistan has been one of the largest troops contributing countries to the UN missions.
Absolutely.
We started in Congo back in 2003 with a brigade plus strength, and I must tell you, Congolese would admire only one country, without any prejudice to other countries, but they would always say, you Pakistanis, you even want to sacrifice your lives in order to save us, about our military.
That's a moment
so
of
our
pride.
military is brave, and they have been doing their job marvelously in Congo especially.
Very true.
Very true. Very true. And of course, it is said about the young population that they are demographic gift, right? But it is also said about that if you do not, guide them and utilize, their energy and resources in a particular way, it could become a demographic, a bomb, a ticking bomb.
Exactly.
So, with respect to the role of youth in Pakistan, sir, I would like you to comment on it. Is it a demographic gift? And how would you visualize it?
Well, Haja, what I would tell you from my international as well as national experience, let me tell you that we are a bit more than 60%, like almost 63, 64% we have. we have to make it bane, not a bone. Basically, what is happening due to our decades of inaction, that lack of planning, what we have done, we haven't realized our potential, how we have to move. If we had planned how we have to move, if we had devised policy, then the question might have been raised through who? Through youth. Youth is your 63%. You are blessed country. I mean, these are the people in the bracket of in between 18 and 33. You see, I mean, these are the most energetic and dynamic people. These are the people who have the courage to surmount every possible thing in the world.
In every direction. Yes.
In every direction, you know, they can do marvels. We had, you see, 7 or 12 years old Microsoft certified
Professional,
girl who unfortunately died.
You
see, and she used to belong to a major. She was the daughter of a major who served the UN mission 2004, by the way, Karim Randhawa. You see, so basically we now we have to, what is lost is lost. Now we have to we have to join our heads and we have to see, look, how we have to utilize this youth. Policy has to be there. Policy is a must. How we have to. First of all, this force, this youth force, should be utilized to educate our public. We have to bring our literacy to 100%.
Which should be the first thing. That
exactly, that is the first thing. You see, this thing has been calling us for decades, but we have been in deep slumber. You know, I mean, we are perhaps one of those unfortunate people who really don't listen to the calls of nature. You see, we lose opportunities, and when calamities start knocking our heads, then we wake up. Oh my goodness.
Last minute decisions.
Last minute decisions. You see, so first we have to put this youth for education, health. What is happening? We have a lot of doctors. Everybody's complaining. I mean, our doctors are not enough, but doctors are not getting jobs. What is happening? Basic health units. We are supposed to have every basic health unit at least a doctor. But what happens? Whenever you go to nook and corner of the country, I mean, there is no doctor available. What is happening? Those pseudo doctors, those dispensers or compounders, they play with the health of the public. You see, because they're not doctors. If a person is suffering from, say, diabetes, he might be treating him for, say, cholera, perhaps. You see, so basically what is happening, we have to use this youth, not only, I mean, educated youth, for example, doctors should be posted, they should be given incentives, they should be mentally motivated, they should be said, look, this is your national cause, this is your national responsibility, forget about the money, we will compensate you. Government has to compensate.
But I understand the policy decisions and the sectors that you're highlighting. But, you know, my dilemma, what I have felt being part of that youth pulse as well, that for a generation like us, like Hajra mentioned, millennials, that we had a proper structure, not just in our schools and colleges, but even values from our homes that were very important. Nowadays, because technology is involved, and I'll be very honest, I think 90% of the youth is obsessed with shortcuts. They don't understand that they have to work their way through. How are we going to answer this question to them?
You have raised a very pertinent and important question. This is really a dilemma. The reason is, unfortunately, educationists, they got lost somewhere. They lost their direction. They forgot that education itself is not the objective. Education has to be a means to reach an objective. And the objective is a very well-read, balanced personality who thinks about humanity, who is considerate.
Nation building, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Who is careful. You see, I mean, we shouldn't forget that we're Muslims, basically. If we forget our roots, we exist nowhere. You know, our basic reason to exist in this world is that we are Muslims. Who were Muslims? We have stopped telling them. Our role models have become, I mean, those, I mean, who were not our role models. So, and what our role models used to do, how kind, how generous they were towards humanity. I mean, for example, let me tell you, the highest degree in this world is PhD.
Yes, sir.
If a person does PhD, but he is not a good human being, what is the use of that PhD? Even
You have raised a very important point, and Ahmed, I would like to add here is that we have used education not for the nation building process. Rather, we are using education to churn out money.
Absolutely.
To
It's a business now, a commercial.
It's a business now, of course. And that's very important that, you know.
For example, Hajda, let me tell you, you go around and you will find littering everywhere. You see, go to any park, go to any road, Islamabad is comparatively better. You see what happens. Basically, people eat, say, for example, some snacks. They throw away the wrappers. They throw away their boxes. Whatever they are having, they throw away boxes everywhere. Why? Without realizing that basically all this is going to cost a lot on national exchequer when this will be collected.
But it's a trick question. The same people, when they move to another place of origin or a country, immediately they're in line. They will know that throwing it out of the window is going to probably end up with a $100 fine or a 500 dirham fine, and they'll be okay with that.
Ahmed, you know why?
Yes, sir.
Application of law. Application of law. For example, you meet an accident, call a sergeant, right? First of all, when sergeant comes, you will have to tell him the law. That the person has hit you from the back, so must be speeding, must be having some mental tension or trouble. That's why he's, unless you really applied some emergency brakes, otherwise. But what happens when you call a policeman, you have to first explain him what is the applicable law here, what is the applicable principle here. You will find most of the policemen moving around on motorbikes without helmets. Can you imagine in developed world, a person on motorbike, even covering 10 meters without a helmet is a grave offense. Wearing seat belts. Take into account all the data. 99% people who die in road accidents, they are not wearing seat belts. While almost 90% people who are wearing seat belts, they get saved because of those seat belts.
But in our region, I think mostly they wear it when they see a sergeant.
So I think
that's the domain. Otherwise, it's off with the seat belts.
You know, I joined UN mission back in 99. So what happened? I mean, even you left your home, and in next 10 meters, you were not wearing seat belt. A military police who were from South Africa, they will stop you. Simply, sir, how are you doing? Sir, please give me your license. And 1 month penalty. I can't drive my car for 1 month because I was not wearing seat belt. You see, so we have to apply. We do have rules, but basically what happens, those who are applying, they don't know themselves rules. So I was telling you, whenever 99, I used to come home almost every 2-3 months, and I was wearing seat belt when I was driving. Right from my home up to my workplace, wherever a policeman was standing, he would be staring at me.
He'd probably think you're crazy.
You're crazy. Why he's wearing seat belt? We haven't asked you to wear seat belts. Because at that time, policemen themselves did not know what was the function of the seat belt.
But Hajra, it's interesting you drive yourself, right? So the car will probably kill you with that beep unless you're wearing a seat belt. That's what that beep was for. It'll keep on beeping.
Okay, Ahmed, so I do wear seat belt, not out of the fear of the police, because it's my civic and social responsibility.
I understand.
And I make sure the person who's sitting next to me also wear it, and then say, if you don't want to wear it, then go to the back seat. You're not allowed. Yes. This is a very, I think, a very strict.
But you know what a generation, because that beep would keep on ringing for you to wear a seat belt, and what people would usually do, take it from the back and just put it in to get rid of the beep.
That's true.
So intelligent.
You'll be surprised. I have seen some government high-ranking officials. I have a few friends. When they sit, they don't wear seat belt. And I usually ask everyone, irrespective of the rank, even because I have learned these rules from the UN. You know,
right, sir.
Even if PM or President is sitting next to me, for example,
yes, sir,
I would ask him, please, sir, seat belt first. Only then I'm going to start.
I'll pretend sir didn't say anything like that. But sir, going on, very short on time, unfortunately, what would be your final message to the youth who want to contribute to nation building but probably are misguided?
Very nice question. I think education is a must, but being a good human being, respecting your parents, respecting your teachers, loving your siblings, respecting and cooperating with your neighbors, with your street fellows, with your class fellows, with your society, behaving well on roads, abiding by traffic rules, keeping yourself away from littering. You see, being a good citizen. Today youth, sorry to say, has indulged in narcotics. There's so many types of narcotics.
Yes,
at the same time, sexual bankruptcy. In our streets, I mean, students are bunking classes and they're found in parks. Couples are dating, you know, young generation. I get surprised why they have lost direction. They're hardly in first year or second year of their career, and they have started dating. Their parents think that they are perhaps they are in institutions, you see, but they are wasting their life. And what happens? I mean, even those who are studying, they are not focusing on education. Hardly 20–30% are focusing.
Yes,
so
sir.
basically, I would ask my youth that if you complete your study and you really get into professional life in the proper manner, if you don't do that, you don't exist properly.
Definitely. You don't exist indeed as well. And I think sir is right. Even going by parental guidance is always there. Hajra, what's your final message?
Right, right. So as sir said, that it's very important to have a direction, you know, for the youth out there, and in order to move forward. And I think focus on your career first. You know, these things will, you know,
Come with time.
Come with the time, and then, you know, they will remain side by side. So it's important that you focus on the studies, and then you're on the career, and then, you know, go for the other things in the life.
Absolutely,
so,
absolutely. I think that's a great message. And read the novel that Hajra told you
that's
about.
true.
It is interesting.
And do give us a feedback. You know, how what do you think about
That's very
that?
important. But Mr. Wahab, thank you very much for joining us. It was great having you on the show. And obviously keep on inspiring the youth, sir.
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure being part of this show.
Thank
and I really like both of you a lot.
Right. It's been wonderful
so
indeed. It's been a great morning, and I've really enjoyed myself, Hajra. I think these morning things are great, energetic things to give you a boost of energy.
And of course, it's a natural thing, right?
Absolutely. Natural, but obviously you can catch the show once again tomorrow, and probably Shahzad will be back, so you can enjoy all the gizmos that are there. But thank you very much for tuning in. And on a final note, it's goodbye from us and the entire team. But on a note, 1, 2, 3, good morning.